I would like to say this.
Yeah.
To our friends at Fox.
Right.
Thank you so much for giving us something that spawned at least 5 stories that I wrote yesterday. Because I know how to milk that cow. When that cow shows up in the barn, I've been doing this 20 years, folks. I'm not just going to do one story that hits every possible angle. Oh, no. I sit down with a pad and a pen, and I think of every different angle, and I am going to make a story at every different angle, baby. This is business here. I'm a businessman. I'm trying to do business.
Yep.
The more stories,
the
hoarder
of cash is what you are.
Hey, no, I'm trying to inform and entertain in digestible chunks. Copy, paste, snarky comment, snarky comment, snarky comment.
Hold
copy,
back
paste
a few
again.
snarky comments for the next article.
There's a lot there. There's one I still haven't written. They thought I was a hater yesterday. Wait till they see the one I'm going to write after the show today, especially inspired by those comments that he made in June on the shop. I never would have dreamed that this guy would get into broadcasting. Now, I know he's loosened up in recent years, but still, to the extent that he's going to be the weekly pincushion, there's going to be that segment of social media that complains about anything and everything that he says, regardless of whether or not there's merit to it. Oh, and by the way, there may be merit to it because you know what? Tom Brady, and if you haven't heard, is getting 10-year, 300, I can't even say it, it's so big. $375 million over 10 years to call games for Fox as the #1 analyst whenever he retires, whenever he's done. There's no guarantee he's going to be any good. Somebody said to me yesterday, don't you think he auditioned first? I said, when you're Tom Brady, you don't audition. You don't audition.
Yeah.
If you got the leverage to get $375 million over 10 years, you're not going to go audition. You name your price. You name your terms.
Pretty
and that's
much
what he did, Chris.
Yeah, that's what he is. That's where he's at. I mean, he's in that stratosphere. Yes. So I understand. I understand that. You know, he is well-spoken. He's quick-witted. I've been around him before. Of course, when I worked in New England, you know, he's going to have great knowledge of the football game. You know, this is different now as far as like that clip and 90% of what I say, you know, I don't, you know, is not real or all that. You know, again, that's when he's being interviewed and having to be careful, and he is the quarterback of a football team. This is going to be mostly football and him teaching us and going what's going on in the football game itself. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of BS there. I don't. And I'm one to go like, hey, listen, I'm usually the guy that goes, hey, no tryout for that guy. That's crazy. We don't even know how good he's going to be. I don't know. With Tom Brady, I don't think it's going to be a real problem. I think he's going to work at it. He's going to be I honestly think he's going to be a natural at it. I really do.
Just like Joe Montana.
Well,
just like Joe Montana.
Joe Montana didn't have.
Just like
I
Joe
don't
Montana.
think. I don't think he had his same personality. That would just be my assessment there. Being around Joe Montana as a young kid, and the few times I've been around it after, they're not the same guy. So that's where I understand what you're saying, but I think they're a little different in their personality. I would say.
Well, Joe Montana wasn't exactly going to loosen up around the shaving cream in the shoes kid of one of his arch rivals of the 80s. I don't think you were going to get the real Joe Montana experience when he's constantly giving the side eye to this little demon that's about to be unleashed on him when he's not looking.
Well, it was after even though. You know, he worked for NBC with my father, right? You know, just and it wasn't about that or the competitiveness or just – hey, Joe's more of a quiet guy. You know, he's not a guy that is boisterous. He's not going to be one of the louder guys in the locker room. Brady can be that guy. Brady can get on the field and start talking crap and LFG, and even in the practice field can do that. Look at these lasers I'm throwing out here today. Catch that ball. I mean, he'll do that. So there's a little more there to the guy, at least in my opinion, than I think the world has seen, and we're seeing that over the last year and a half. It's slowly breaking out after he left New England.
Yeah, I still look. Go ahead, call me a hater. I don't care. I think Peyton Manning's better. I think Peyton Manning would be better. I think Peyton Manning's got to be kicking himself.
Well, yeah, okay, that's Peyton Manning's fault.
I didn't know Fox. Yeah. I didn't know you're giving out $375 million over 10 years. We could have had a conversation. We could have talked. Call my people. $375. I'd have done it for $374. Peyton Manning says so. But we'll see how he does.
Yeah.
Maybe the same drive. Maybe the same. I'm not rolling it out.
Right.
I'm just saying it's a hell of a risk.
It is.
The richest broadcasting deal times 2, right? And when this broke yesterday, remember I said on this program, I think it starts with a 3.
Yes, you did. No, yeah. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, Mike was right.
I had a wager with our boss over under for a bottle of wine, $29.5 million. He took the under, I took the over.
Yeah, he didn't like that number. The boss didn't like that number. He went, oh crap, price of business just went up.
and it's not a cheap bottle of wine either. It's not Mad Dog.
Get him, hammer him.
So the other side of it too, and I thought this was funny last night. Fox issued a statement suggesting that the reporting on Brady was inaccurate. And they didn't say what specifically, but the only thing of substance that has been reported is the years and the money. The statement from Fox was, what has been reported isn't an accurate description of the deal, and we have not released details beyond what was disclosed on our quarterly earnings call. That was when Lakeland Murdoch made the announcement that Brady was joining.
Right.
They haven't said anything. There hasn't been any reporting other than 10 years, $375 million. And what's funny about this, the New York Post reported the terms.
Right.
The New York Post is owned by Rupert Murdoch.
Right.
Fox is owned by Rupert Murdoch.
Right.
So you've got 2 sister companies under the same umbrella, kind of at odds here. And when I saw that the Post was reporting it, it's like, well, okay, why would we doubt it? Why would anybody doubt it? It was treated as a given all day long. It's Murdoch's company that's reporting the terms of the deal that one of Murdoch's other companies has done. So
Andrew
I'm not
Marchand,
buying that.
Right? Is that who?
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
Right. Marchand and Andrew Marchand. Yeah, sorry, and he's usually almost always right. So that's where I want to just go. I mean, this is what he does. It will be interesting as far as what the details were or weren't or whatever. Mike, I understand what you say about Peyton Manning. Hey, Peyton Manning is one of the great personalities of all time. He is. But there's a big but here. There is a big but. He is no longer in the stratosphere of Tom Brady. Tom Brady has gone to he's in another galaxy with Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Babe Ruth, like the greatest sports icons in the history of the world. It's gone to that point. And I think that's where this is like a totally different game. This is the first time ever.
You're a card-carrying Brady hater. You better stop talking like that.
I'm not a hater. I'm not. I just keep it real and point out some issues in his game every now and then instead of kissing his butt like everybody does. Everywhere they talk about it behind his back, but they won't say it on TV. So, no, I'm not a hater on him. And I can still, even though, yes, I got a few issues here and there with his career, look at him and go, no, the man is awesome. He's smart. He's incredibly detailed, right? And now he's starting to be a businessman the last few years. And he's reached a stratosphere, like I said, that is different. And because of that, too, I think it's different because this is the first time ever. So kind of like what you're saying, and you've said, like, hey, it's been Tom Brady a long time. Like, it's the first time ever one of these guys is going to be thrusted into our living room on a weekly basis all the time. They usually retire into, hey, occasionally we see that guy, and, hey, he's here at this event and that event and blah, blah, blah. This is where it's different to me in the fact that this kind of star is going to be in our living room, 22 weeks a year, and that's kind of a game changer too.
But we have had Troy Aikman for 20-plus years, and he won 3 Super Bowls and was in the Hall of Fame the last time I checked. I know he wasn't at the same level as Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Tony Romo has been ubiquitous on CBS ever since he retired, and he never even played in an NFC Championship game, so it's definitely apples and oranges there. You said something, though, that caught my attention.
Yeah.
You made the comment about how you'll keep it real and talk about issues with his game while everybody else kisses his butt, and they'll just talk about him behind his back. This is what I'm concerned about. Yeah, he can talk ball. And maybe he does the Tony Romo parlor trick where he says, I know what play is coming, because the one thing, and I think one of the reasons Romo stopped doing it, everybody else in the business was kind of like, we all kind of know because we go to practice and we study and we could do this too. So come on, Tony, knock it off.
Well, then he went through a period where his batting
a
percentage was very low for a while.
And then he decided to get out of the business.
Right.
But, and I'm not saying that others do this because we know they don't, but if you're paying Tom Brady $375 million over 10 years, it's fair to ask the question, is he going to tell the truth about the people he sees? You know, one of the reasons he keeps playing.
Yeah.
Comment he made last December when he was named the Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. He said, I don't want to turn on the TV and say these guys suck.
Yeah, right.
That's why he keeps playing. So, and I remember thinking, well, okay, hey, and we talked about this. When Tom Brady's done, he better stay away from the TV. He better not watch for the first year or two because he's going to think these guys suck and I can still do it. Unless he plays until he gets to the point where he says, I suck. So if he stops at any point before he can objectively say, I can't do it anymore like these other guys, he's going to be tormented. Now, maybe the $37.5 million per year goes a long way toward,
right,
you know, making that soothing that over, as you would say. But will he say, I can't believe that son of a bitch made that throw?
Hopefully.
Will he say that?
Hopefully.
Will he say, you know, so-and-so, you know, Patrick Mahomes has kind of regressed this year. Here's what I see from studying the film. Here, let's show the split screen. See what he used to do, when the left defensive end, the defensive end to his left, would get penetration on the inside. This is how he used to turn and spin away from it. Watch what he did last week. He doesn't handle it like he used to. I've seen that in his game. He's regressing, okay? So are we going to get that from him? Because I'm telling you, for $335 million, I expect 370. As a consumer, I expect, if you're paying this guy $375 million over 10 years, that we're going to get something more than just, hi, Bob, great to be here today.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.